Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, September 15th, called to order at 6:36 p.m. First item, review and discuss proposed amendments to the sewer use regulations, 7th read. Come on up. Pete. You are the first contestant this evening. I believe the last parts we were just working to finish up the rates and some question around that, correct?
Yes.
And so what did you end up coming back with?
Okay, so I went to two of our neighboring towns, Greenfield and Montague. And Montague's low, Greenfield's probably more where they should be. Greenfield's rates were 1,000 and the town of Montague's were $125
Flat.
flat. And it's for all three. It's for residential, commercial, industrial.
They were all flat. They were,
Yep.
okay.
I believe we have copies of the Greenfields
Yep, Yep.
applications.
the non-residential applications there.
Yep.
But the residential was the same fee?
Yes.
Just half the documentation required.
Got it. So what's your recommendation based on what you found?
I would say maybe somewhere near the middle.
Residential rate is currently $150.
And commercial industrial currently?
Nothing.
Your regulations currently say see ordinance.
Right. And our ordinance doesn't
Exist.
ordinate anywhere.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you could set them, you can do two different ones. That's your decision, the board's decision, commissioners. Or we can do one flat.
What's your recommendation?
I would say anywhere between 250 and 5. Flat, all the way across.
For all of them?
Yes.
Thoughts?
You know, and as time goes by, if the need arises to raise them, obviously, they can go up, but to start with.
So is this fee for new projects, starting a new project, not anything else?
Basically new, unless something moves into an existing building, then they would still pay a fee, because they then would contribute to the system.
If it was an existing one that wasn't active? You mean?
Yes. Yes,
So like an inactive one that became reactivated?
correct.
What would be the time period for the 250 to 500 fee starting? Seeing that we don't currently have a fee at all,
That would be
up to what?
up to you.
Right.
But didn't you say
And-
we did have a fee though? Currently?
Currently, yes, for just the regular residential.
And commercial industrial, it says C, but we don't have it listed
Correct.
anywhere.
Yep.
So we don't know, I don't know if we've done the same as the residential or we just haven't had any.
But we just haven't had any.
Okay.
Not in my time with the town. So in the past 20 years.
So
So
the
it's probably
pub-
fair to say they're
the
150.
public's gonna say, well, if we hadn't had it in 15 or 20 years, why do we need it now?
Well, I think you're saying we haven't had any applications for commercial
Correct.
industrial, not that we
Oh,
haven't,
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
so we haven't charged anyone
Oh, okay.
for that
okay.
service, not that
Okay.
we haven't had a fee.
Right.
Okay.
The fee just hasn't been established clearly for
Right.
commercial industrial, but we also haven't had any requests.
Correct.
I
But we
get it.
had a clear residential of 150,
Yes.
which has happened
Yes.
in your time here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of whether or not we had a different rate or past practice on commercial industrial. Hard to say. I
Mhm.
think safest estimate is it was at least 150.
Right.
It was at least the same, right, as residential. I wouldn't expect it would have been less or
Right.
non-existent.
Definitely wouldn't have been less.
Right, so I'll at least assume it would have been the same.
So would there be, well, first of all, I think it would be good for us if we haven't had a past commercial rate. It would be good to have a baseline moving forward. For a one-time fee, it doesn't seem unreasonable. And as far as when it would take effect, I don't think we need to grandfather new connections that have already been made. So
It
to
would just
me,
be whenever we adopt the new regs.
right, it
Hmm.
would be effective then. That would. But as I've said in the past, I put a lot of faith in our department heads to be subject matter experts. And if you think these fees in that direction is appropriate, I don't have any basis to counter that. So.
Does the connection size vary for commercial industrial versus residential?
It doesn't really, from what I could see. I mean, there's for industrials, you're gonna want, 6-inch or 4-inch minimum. I wouldn't go below that, obviously, but 6-inch on up.
I'm just thinking about the water rates, which were tiered based on size, whereas if there's a difference in residential versus commercial industrial, should we have tiered similarly or not? I don't know.
But we don't use water to factor sewer rates, which we
No, I
don't
just
have,
meant
so-
connection fees, right?
Right,
And that's basically, the application is effectively a connection permit, right?
right.
What is the standard residential connection?
4-inch.
It's 4?
So it doesn't
Some have
necessarily mean
6.
it's bigger.
Some have 6. I wouldn't say anything. I've never seen anything smaller than 4.
No, I don't think you would want to. Huh?
No.
I was just thinking my own residence. I'm like, I think I have a 6, maybe an 8.
I know mine was replaced. I don't remember what it was, but hopefully big enough. So if you put a number on it, right? I mean,
I was
think-
going to say, would it make sense to put a minimum number on these so that we don't experience unfortunate events because the pipe is too small?
Is that in the reg already?
I don't recall. That's
I don't either.
I was actually trying to scroll through
Pull it up.
and find the most recent version that we had. It wasn't in the packet for this week, right?
No, because it's about 50-something pages, and you've already edited everything else. It was down to this appendix.
Okay. And that's not a complaint. Less is more.
No.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Let me just pull it up for you. doing a scan of all of the regulation, and I'm not. I see the materials. Talks about the need to have that defined in the permit application, along with the site layout and all the all the equipment that's connected to the system. But I am not seeing a minimum diameter.
Would that be a code?
So on this one, the minimum size is 6 inches,
On what
You're talking
one?
about the one from Greenfield?
residential.
On what?
On the,
On our reg?
no,
Oh,
On the Greenfield,
right.
reg you provided?
There's an example of the Greenfield one.
yeah, but I guess that doesn't
That
help
doesn't
us.
help us. But if it's something you all want, we should probably include it, because I'm not, after I just did that search, I'm not seeing it.
Well, I mean, is it something you want, that you would recommend? Right?
I would recommend 6 inch if we want to put that in there. Then no one later on is going to say they have a problem with the volume.
As Jim said, we're not the subject matter experts, so if you're recommending 6, then we'll put it in there. I mean,
For
I don't think we'll have a
residential,
concern
yeah.
putting it in there.
I would go with 6.
We can put a minimum, right,
Yep.
similar to the Greenfield one.
Yeah, they all
Any
say six.
concerns, we'll add it to the,
Well, my only
Requirement
question is there, I know this neighboring town has it, but is there a code requirement that would supersede anything that we put in writing? Or is it necessary?
right.
I would think,
I know I opened up a can of worms and now I'm trying.
no, I would think that a 6 would be what you'd want, because later on, say someone puts an in-law apartment on, you know, you want to make sure you have adequate capacity.
I agree.
Is 6 inches the standard?
For most, I've seen 4, but like, my own personal house is 6. Most of them I've been in are all 6. And I think it's just because of that, just for added on capacity. I mean, I would advise myself, if I was there, if someone was building, I would recommend 6.
I think Montague says minimum 4, so I mean, it's not, I think it's up to us unless there's a statute. And you're saying you don't think there is?
For Irving,
No, state.
I haven't seen, I haven't really looked for it.
Is there a reason why they would say a minimum of 4 and max 6?
I think older houses probably have 4, and
Right.
then some would have 6. I know a lot of newer ones are 6.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm reading is a single family, typically 4, although local municipal code and a 6-inch pipe may be required. Multifamily or larger residential.
I think it can be larger than that depending, for
Right.
something commercial, industrial,
It
right?
says
Mhm.
Specific
These are minimums.
materials must be confirmed with your town's Department of Public Works or sewer superintendent as they set local design standards and may require different specifications, so. I think that,
No, I'm just curious. I thought I heard Bill say something about a max, and so I just want to make sure
Well,
there was a max or not.
right. Yeah.
When you start going to like industrial, then yeah, you definitely want to go higher. For residential, 6 is probably the most common. If you were to go much larger than that, then you could run into possible issues of not everything flowing out.
If it was larger than 6.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, ultimately, as part of the permit process, the design has to be approved.
Right.
It's
Right.
generally usually engineered or something, and you're going to sign off on, or the commissioners on,
Mhm.
that it is appropriate, so. I guess it's a question of whether you feel like it's better to have it in there and have a minimum, or if you handle it on the permit process.
However, I mean, we could set it as minimum. That way, years down the road when I'm not around, it's already set. Or that choice is up to you. It doesn't matter to me either way. I would recommend if, you know, someone's building, I would always recommend 6-inch. I'd rather know you have that added capacity in case, like I said, if someone put an in-law apartment or one of those smaller houses out back.
ADUs?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially now.
So I'm kind of wondering what the language would read like in order to not be, the policy to not be arbitrary, and someone could just make a decision to say, I don't like you, so you're going with 6 inches, and the fee is,
Did you say minimum size, like they did in Greenfield, the minimum size of service shall be 6 inches in diameter?
Of SDR 35 PVC type material pipe.
Right.
And we just put that in the requirements section of the reg.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a minimum of that, and then from there, if there's a industrial, commercial, whatever design reason, it can either be submitted larger or be required to be larger during that process. But
Right.
make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Back to fee.
Okay.
What do you want it to be? What would you recommend it to be? You gave us a range, but I mean, do you have a number? I'm not gonna put a range in there. Right?
Go 500.
I'm okay with 500.
Yep, works for me.
Okay.
Okay.
For the
For
commercial,
all connections?
all of the non-residential.
Say that again?
Just the non-residential, the commercial and the industrial, or all?
Your recommendation was flat rate all, right?
Yeah, I would think you're safer just doing that for now. That's what our surrounding neighbors do.
That makes sense to you guys?
How long ago was our residential rate, the connection rate set? When was the last time? Do we know?
It was last reviewed in 2013.
But I don't think we changed any rates.
It's probably been the same
Those
for
rates have probably been the same since I've been here.
over a decade.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but if somebody asks me the justification of going from 150 to 500, I want to have an intellectual response, not just because Job said I am. Wasn't actually Job that said it. You know what I meant.
I do.
No, if it's been 12 or more years, I'll use Mr. Hammock's example. Gallon of milk costs a lot more now than it did in 2000.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
I don't think it's an unreasonable number.
I don't either. It's not that. It makes sense.
So do you want to see one more copy? I'll work these red line changes into your draft. Do you want to see this draft one more time before you schedule your public hearing on it? And are you ready to schedule your public hearing on it?
We didn't change much. We're just changing the 3 lines that didn't have numbers to 1 line that says all of them are $500 and
Right.
for the permit, and we're adding a requirement of the pipe
Right.
minimum.
I'm comfortable moving forward as amended.
Yeah, I think. Are you?
Sure.
Comfortable moving forward to the public hearing
Yep.
without another read?
Yep.
Okay. I think it makes sense, so.
Okay.
And then in terms of the public hearing, we haven't really talked about schedule yet. What's the minimum, is there a notice period?
I need to double check that. It's usually at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I'll double check the exact for this specific statute.
Okay. Well, let's see. This week, next week, we've already got 2 meetings next week, and we haven't talked about schedule for after that, so.
Sometime in October, right?
For the hearing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we pushed
You
it
said
to-
when, so I was trying to get you more than a sometime in the future.
If we shoot for a month and 2 weeks is the minimum, we're good.
Okay, so
If it's a month,
sometime
we-
October, mid-October meeting, somewhere in there, give or take.
Excellent.
Good?
Thank you all.
Anything
Yes.
else on the reg?
I'm fine.
Good with the regs?
We'll go with the regs.
All right, well, that's what we'll do.
And we won't have to worry about the ordinance.
It will be gone.
Exactly. There'll be no more references to ordinances.
True.
All right, do we have anything else for you tonight, Pete? I think that was it, right?
I think that is it.
All right, cool, thank you.
Yep.
Meeting minutes, August 28th, 2025.
I will make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes from August 28th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passing over September 8th, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. Review and approval of water commitments, 3rd and 4th for fiscal '26.
I will make a motion to authorize the issuance of the third water commitment for fiscal year 2026 in the aggregate amount of $9,360.
Second.
Is it just me, or is it not normally say final charges for regular billing? Or does it always say final charges and I just
We only
Didn't-
bill this once a year. I think
understood?
that's why that language is in there.
Okay.
Yep.
It just threw me because it's not final charges like normally it's, when I'm used to reading that, it's
Agreed.
usually the last bill for a owner and a transfer or change of ownership is coming.
I think what it's trying to say, and maybe that language is not
Like the
The best
annual
thing-
charges?
the annual charges,
Okay.
right?
The
Because you only
one-time
bill
or-
on these two accounts this one time.
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't think we were final billing at the town properties.
Understood.
I missed a transaction somewhere. All right, no worries. Any other discussion on that?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion to authorize the issuance of the fourth commitment, final water use charges fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $47.08.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And both of those should be right on your table.
Thank you. Discussion and review of the draft questions for the activities coordinator position interviews.
So I did create some draft questions. did not print them out because I wanted to save paper. If you gentlemen are okay, I will forward them to you by email.
Sure. Works for me. Does it work for you?
I didn't hear that.
He's got some questions he drafted, which
Oh,
you can
okay.
email, or
Sure,
if that
Yeah.
works.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll try to speak up, Bill. My apologies. Should be on the way.
Do you want just kind of any background on how you came
Sure.
to these? I know, so
Yeah,
obviously on the screening and
I was,
yeah.
So
did
I don't know,
you
how
able
do
to
you
bring
pull,
those up or
how
no?
do you pull that up?
If you open your email up,
Open my email up.
is it that there?
Um, I can't find it. Edit PDF, create, edit.
If you click on Outlook down here, this blue one,
This one?
yeah, that one, and then click this X here, that one, yeah. And then if you scroll up in that middle, yes, there you go. Should be
Okay.
that guy, yeah. And I think if you double click on that file there, it should open it up.
Okay.
So, and then when you want to switch back, you just click back on Adobe when you want to switch back to the packet.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
you ready?
Yep.
So what I did is I referenced the questions that weren't asked in the first round that Brian provided with us, for us. And I remember there being a lot of thoughtful conversation around the questions that we did present in the first round. And I thought the remaining questions had some value to them. So working off of that, I took those remaining questions and divided them into what I thought were important points that would help the final candidate be successful in this job. And I condensed a couple into single questions so that we wouldn't have a marathon interview. And ended up with, starting with an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves to us as a board and to you. You haven't met them yet. And then touch on what they believe are the skills that will allow them to be successful. And then in moving into the other points, desirable skill sets and things that we were looking for when we crafted the job description and what we were hoping for out of a candidate. I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination these are ready to be minted and put out to the public, but I thought it would give us a foundation to work off of.
Sure. Thank you. I think maybe just starting from the top down. I think the first one makes sense. Bill, what you think? I mean, maybe I might say relevant rather than important. So, like most described as most relevant skills or most relevant to the position.
I would agree with that.
Semantics, but
No, that's, hey, if we weren't grammar police, what would we be doing here?
not so
No, I agree with you, sir. I think it's,
yeah.
word selection is important.
Yeah, I don't, it's a good question, and I think it allows each candidate to expand on what they bring to the position and to the town. So I think it's a good question.
So what's the recommended edit for question 1?
Changing the word important to relevant.
Thank you.
Describe the most relevant skills and attributes you possess that will enable you to be successful. And then I might recommend at the end of that, successful as Erving's activities, senior community center activities coordinator, just kind of focusing on that job title rather than generalized, but again, semantics.
And
Or successful as the activities coordinator. Are you taking notes as we go? So maybe we'll run through them,
Sure.
discuss if there's others, changes, and then maybe if you want to print our list, Brian, or send us a list of the edits after, we can make one more read through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we captured everything, it all makes sense.
I like both of those recommendations. Thank you.
Okay. Second one is, have you worked in a municipal or government-run program? If not, how would you adapt to this environment? How would you ensure smooth coordination with external agencies and other town departments?
So the first part of question 2, at the question mark, have you ever worked in a municipal or government-run program? Question. So if the person hasn't, do we move on to the second part of the question? Or if they have, would they answer that?
It's a point, and when I'm reading this,
I'm getting it.
I think the intent would be, we would want to know how they would ensure that smooth coordination with external agencies and town departments regardless of past experience.
Okay.
So, as I filed my disclaimer, they're
Yeah,
not ready
yeah,
to be
well,
minted.
It's a great question, though.
So maybe we, as the two-part question, if not, how would you adapt to this environment? And the second part of the question would then begin with, how would you ensure smooth coordination with external agencies and town government, or town departments?
What about flip-flopping that? What about starting with, like, how do you ensure, how would you, ensure smooth or effective coordination with internal, with town departments and external agencies, if you, based on your experience working in a municipality or government programs, or how would you adapt to that if you haven't? Maybe putting that on the second part, because the focus, I think, if I'm hearing what you both are saying, is really about how do you ensure coordination internally and externally.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have municipal government experience, how have you done that, right, effectively in those roles? And if you don't, then how do you adapt to doing it in that way? And that was a whole lot more words than's on that question right now. Or do we want to let that one maybe sit for a few minutes, come back to it? Unless either of you have a thought on how you would like to rearrange it or rewrite it.
No, I think you're both right. The point of emphasis on the question is ensuring smooth coordination with town departments, external agencies, and then we can tease out have you had experience or providing an experience or example of how you've done it in the past, or if not, how would you plan to adapt? Yes, words.
May I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
What if we flip it around and say, how would you ensure smooth coordination with external agencies and other town departments based on your experience working in a municipality or government agency or program? Or if you have not worked in either of those, how would you adapt to this environment? Or adapt your experience to this environment? I guess it's kind of maybe what you were starting with, Bill, is trying to establish whether they have or not. Is like the first part of we're trying to establish it and then ask the question in a different way depending on whether they have that experience.
Yeah,
or
I
not.
kind of feel like the first part of the question is a separate question into itself.
Mm.
That it doesn't really, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is does it really make, the real question is the second half of the question, not the first half. How would you adapt, how would you adapt to, I don't even like adapt, how would you ensure smooth coordination and external, between department heads and different department heads and or agencies, something to that effect, and leave out municipal and government-run program. I mean, because I don't really know what a government-run program is, what it looks like. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It just doesn't, it doesn't fit. Yeah, I haven't watched and seen the program run for a number of years. It doesn't run like, it didn't run like a municipal or government-run program, quote unquote. I mean, there were people running it, and they were concerned about the community, and they were concerned about how things functioned and operated, and how they could best give everybody what they kind of needed and what they wanted, and kind of lumping in how a government works doesn't do it justice.
And just looking back at the candidates, not that they necessarily don't have any experience, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's like the majority of their experiences necessarily looks on resumes at least like governmental municipal. So maybe we just don't say that part.
Right.
How are you going to adapt? Like, just because looking at them, we have that advantage of having that. So I just was flipping back to see if there's any, maybe some, but it wasn't like what Brian's resume would be to pick on you since you're here. You know, that would be very clearly all
Right,
focused in
right.
that arena already. I think it's more of it's probably on the other side of it. So maybe we just word it, assuming that that's transferable skills that we're looking for that
Right,
information
right,
on.
right.
And so do we just say, Bill, you had a reword in there, rewrite in the question itself for the focus of the coordination, right?
Yes. How would you ensure smooth coordination between the senior center and activities with other agencies and or town departments, something to that effect.
Did you read back what you took down for that one?
This one got complicated. Have we stricken
I think
the
we
second
shed,
part
I
with
think
the adapt?
I think we did for now.
So the current version I have is how would you ensure smooth coordination between the senior and community center, town departments, and external agencies?
Does that sound good for now? We'll come back to it.
Yes.
Is it
Sure.
Missing anything that?
No, I think
Okay.
it gets to the point. You may or may not have heard I sometimes get long-worded or long-winded. And trim it back is fine.
I mean, we can write 6-part questions, but I don't think our.
What's that?
I said we can write 6-part questions, but I don't think our candidates are. Our clock will appreciate it. We all could do that. Second one is, third one, around describing experience balancing working under supervision with working independently. Reading that one and the next one, I actually maybe lean toward the subnote in there and more of having number 3 be, describe your, provide an example or describe a time, where you worked as part of a team in the role that you played within that group and, successfully achieving that goal. And then focusing the independently piece of it on the fourth question, which is, like, if you're going to manage the center in the director's absence, during coverage, then that's working independently, more the independently side of it.
You're saying take the sub question and move it to 3?
I'm proposing maybe that. I'm not saying to do it yet. I'm just talking through it. What are your thoughts, Bill, on 3 versus 4?
I like A of 3. And again, I think it's to the point. It asks the question and asks for more information as to how they interacted as a team, as a goal. So I like A. I think we can scratch 3.
So I think we're saying, or recommending maybe take 3 and change it to the sub 1. Maybe adjusting that to like describe a time when you worked as part of a team and as part of a team, the role you had and how you helped the group achieve the goal. So I think it's kind of 3-part. What is it that what the team was trying to do? What was your role in it? And how did you make sure it succeeded? So maybe describe a time when you worked as part of a team, your role on the team, and how you helped the team achieve the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Yep.
that sound good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Next category is your wheelhouse.
Are we good with 4 as it is? I'll just support director and step in to manage community center in her absence.
Well, it will give the candidates the opportunity to speak how they
Oh, they think that's supposed to
foresee
go?
working, yeah,
Yeah.
in a support versus a leadership role, and how they would demonstrate both, so. And to your previous point, I think it asked the same question as the former number 3, so.
The working independently part, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with 4 as it is. Bill, any recommendations?
Yeah, I have no problem with 4. It's
Okay.
fine.
So 5, I just wanted to, computer one, I just wanted to flip back to the questions that were asked in the screening, just make sure it's not overlapping something there.
I have no problems with any of 5.
Um, might just slightly reword it to, so just to trim it down to something of like, describe your your proficiency and experience with their experience using Microsoft Office, social media platforms, and trying to think of a better term for the My Senior Center system. For that type of software. But yeah, basically self rate, right? I think that's a good question. We could leave it that way too, the way it is too. I would probably take, how experienced or describe how, describe your level of proficiency and experience using Microsoft Office, social media platforms, creating documents with graphic design, applications, and managing the user, or managing basically I think it's more like a CRM, but let me look up what MyRec is actually called, because they may have experience with something different, like ERPs, right? You can say Oracle, but someone has SAP, they're all in the same genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drawing a blank at what they would call that program. I would call it a CRM. Customer relation. No, you wouldn't? What would you call it?
Nobody's gonna know what that is. It's either gonna be
They
a,
either do or they don't.
either you're managing patron data, so it's either membership or patron data, is what this purpose of this is.
Okay. Fine. Again, you asked the computer guy.
These are very technical answers.
I know. So I'm trying not to make them technical. I'm trying to back away from that because it's easy to go there for me.
Yes.
So.
I think it'll be more accessible to your candidates if you use something that described the database's purpose.
Yeah, that's fine. that's what CRM is. Customer relations management.
I think you wanted me to use the
Acronym?
abbreviation.
No, I wouldn't. I was throwing it out there, but not to use it, no.
Okay.
I would have you word it down because I wouldn't expect someone to know that necessarily. Anyhow, I don't want to agonize over that question. It's more, are you familiar with these? Do you know how to use them?
Right.
And I think in answering that, they're gonna naturally, you would hope you'll hear how they would learn or not learn something.
Yep.
Or how experienced are you with, these 3-4 things?
Yep.
And or learning new things and learning new software.
Yeah. And if they don't touch on it, we can always tease it out with a follow-up
It can be a
question.
follow-up, absolutely.
Okay. I said no need to agonize over it.
Yep. Problem solving. So, so in number 6, is yours a hypothetical, or are you assuming they know this is a fact, or is
so-
this? Are you proposing this as this is a scenario that you know
It was-
to problem solve?
It was discussed as something that has occurred,
Okay.
and some of the discussion around it demonstrated concern to want to do something about it. I did form it in a hypothetical sense, but
No, I like it. I was more of just curious if that's assumed that is a. It only drew me if I was on the other side to go, am I supposed to have noticed that, or are you assuming I did? So, but maybe just clarifying that, like. Maybe
could
we've
change to
noticed.
say
All I would say
it's-
is we've noticed that.
it's been noticed.
Right. Maybe that's what it's been. Or participation. Yeah, we've noticed participation has dropped off. What
Mhm.
What would you do to help?
I guess
improve?
I like the question. My problem with it is that if you weren't here, you wouldn't know why to begin with.
Mhm.
Um,
So the method to my madness in the problem-solving skills is I want to see the candidate navigate their way through that.
okay.
And I'll go
Okay.
as far as saying that because of the forum that we work in a public session,
Right.
the questions to the exam are available. And they will have time, if they're truly interested in the job,
To research them.
to prepare an answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. We've seen it in some of the more recent interviews that we've done, where people have prepared, they've known what the questions were, and they've done some prep. So, and I think on the flip side, that's fair to be asked that question in return. Well, what are the reasons? Can you tell me why that has occurred, or what the drivers are?
What could be the reason?
Right. I mean,
Right,
if you're on the other side, and I mean,
Right.
you're asking exactly what a candidate could, which is, but
Mhm.
why? Do you
Right.
know why participation has fallen off?
Right. Right.
Because that's my first step, is to ask why. Right? I mean, potentially, right? And
Yeah,
that can be a little
yeah.
bit of a dialogue
Mhm.
Yeah.
to get there. So, without giving it all away.
If you're out there.
I get what you're saying, though.
So the question you're trying to determine that they can problem solve?
Or how do they approach problem solving?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're
in a
not
3-minute
going to
question.
come up with the right answers to that question unless they experienced it
Right.
in real time.
And a successful
Right.
answer might be the
Right.
ability to come up
Right.
with the correct questions to ask.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the how do you approach it,
Right.
and maybe we should reword it a little more to focus on that. It's
Yeah.
not that.
Mm.
I don't think that Jim expects someone's going to solve it in 3
'Cause-
minutes.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
It's
'Cause-
that they have how do they approach trying to solve something like that?
okay. Yeah.
So we could, I mean, like you said, it's been noted or we've noticed that participation has dropped off. What steps would you take to to, identify the issues and address it, right? Basically kind of walk us through how you would fix it, or how you would start to fix it. I kind of like it. It's one of those you got to think through and on your feet kind of questions, which I'm a fan of. Not to set somebody up, but to watch them walk through it.
Sure.
All in all, the
It's-
only part of it that I would make and recommended was that you've noticed is changing it to we, or it's been
Yep.
noticed.
You could
just
simply say,
right,
participation in the meals program has dropped off.
right.
Good.
Okay.
Let's go.
7. I got nothing. I'm good with it. 7. I think it is very to the point. Bill, you good with 7?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
8.
Maybe this is where the CRM comes in.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm okay with 8, and 9, I'm not quite too sure about the first two words, what strategies. I think it's just a word.
I read that and I think of a different question, and I'm not sure if that's what you were getting at or if it's just one that additionally, which is not about, because to me this focuses on what's the communication method, and I'm maybe more curious about how do you appeal to that diverse population from the 55, to 100 and something, hopefully,
Right.
Population out there, and in the activities that you're
Okay.
bringing. And that's maybe a different question rather than
Right.
the
No,
same
so to provide some context, the original question focused on a diverse senior population or diverse elder population. I know the questions in the packet, and I thought that out a little further, and this is also a community center.
one.
So it's not just diverse elders. There are children, there are young adults, there are more senior adults, more experienced, I guess I'd like to say, if I put myself in that class. So it was more broad-reaching, and of course, heard talk through the selection process for the new director and for this position about the people who utilize this center are different from the ones that used to patronize it. When we first started, they were more like all-day events and come and stay, and whereas newer seniors have been identified as being more active, where they'll drop in for an exercise program or drop in for independent exercise or a particular event, and then they're off to their next thing. So even within that senior demographic, needs are different.
So yeah, so it's maybe more of what I was thinking. It's more of how are you how are you attracting and offering diverse programming for the varied population that's going to come, as opposed to how do you reach them on Facebook, on the web, on the newspaper, right? Like, because I read that as like really discreet. Like,
Sure.
are you putting it in the mail? Are you putting it in an email? Are you putting it in a on Facebook? You know, that kind of thing. It sounds like
Mhm.
you're more of how do you offer things broadly to everybody, or have a wide-ranging offerings, maybe.
And this is why words are important, because
So,
the question that I'm
So-
asking might be interpreted in a.
right, so it comes down to, I think, more, how do you serve a diverse community?
Yeah.
A community that is made up not just of seniors, but of, younger people, programs geared to people of a younger age, and then people of middle age, and then people of an older age. And, I think that's where it's kind of missing. Because you want to serve all of those different communities. And how are you going to do that?
Right. I am 100% with both of you in what we're trying to ask. I'm not getting there on the right words to ask.
So I kind of get, how would you provide programming for a diverse population, i.e. seniors, young adults, and adolescents?
Can you read that one more time, sir?
How would you provide programming for a diverse population, i.e. seniors, young adults, and adolescents? And when I say seniors, we should probably say active seniors.
Is that the right population?
Hmm?
Is that the right population to identify? And I only say that, I know we want to expand the population that is served. And while I think this position would help make that a reality, obviously I think we have to start from working with the director on how are we be shifting and shaping that a little to move from just a senior focus to a community as well, which was something that's been ongoing conversation for
Right,
years.
it's been an ongoing
Yeah,
conversation
but I
for years.
just, maybe I'm only cautioning is how broadly are we putting that in front of a person who might have this role where we haven't necessarily fully defined that with the director about
Right.
what does that look like for, all the generations that it may support. So, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just wondering if we should narrow that a little. I
No,
don't know,
that's
maybe not.
no.
I think the essence of it, though, like how do you approach developing, programming that appeals to these different to diverse populations, right? That
Mhm.
that have different interests, and ensure that we are able to interest those who are already here and those who aren't, because we aren't offering those things.
Mhm.
So I think that the idea is right on.
So, my paragraph is a larger conversation that we haven't yet had.
That's what
as-
I'm getting
as
at a
an
little bit.
administration.
Yeah, and that's, gentlemen, that's very fair.
Right, and I'm only saying that because I don't, there's no framework necessarily already kind of in the works that is building a foundation for what's the scope and how does
Mhm.
the activities coordinator approach what, how diverse am I targeting and how do I get there? And so I do want to understand how someone would strategize that. How would they approach appealing to active seniors, less active seniors, the 55 plus Thrive, kind of community who's not maybe what a traditional senior center offerings interest them, right? So we want to appeal to all those. And yes, I'd like to see us move to more community also options. I just don't know if it's the right question for this person, that's all. That, not the question itself, but the range
Right.
all the way to adolescent.
Right. So I would recommend we scratch 9.
I don't know, I don't really want to scratch it though.
I don't know how you're gonna. I don't know how you're gonna.
Well, okay, so I broke it up into a marketing segment. A few pieces of marketing. You have to have products that you can bring to the marketplace, to our targeted consumers that would have an appeal. The second piece of it is, how do you convey that message that we have these offerings in a way that a targeted group would notice that? Now, that could be the actual media choices you have, whether it be a newsletter, radio, social media, etc. And again, to your point, maybe we do need to reel back, what strategies or what methods would you use to provide programming and servicing to a wide-ranging senior population, if it makes sense to go that way. Because I do agree with Bill's point about, the service element of it, the program offerings we have, but
well, maybe just a tweak, because I liked what you had, Bill, maybe as more of a focus on, a little more focus on the programming side, but maybe just changing the population slightly, right? So diverse population from the you know, I don't know, the newly 55 and up, you know, those who you know, are post-retirement and those in their elder years, you know, just kind of something, because I think defining a diverse population with some markers would be helpful for the question. And I guess my only lean to that was to do it from 55 plus, but to kind of make that idea that there's people 55 plus who are very active, are still working, they're going to drop in for only some things, right? And so how are you appealing to them and bringing them in? How are you doing that for the 65, 70 crowd who may be very active and wants to do lots of things but has more flexibility in their day and time and aren't necessarily working as much or at all? To those that may rely on the center for other things as they get into their elder years and, you know, have, you know, maybe less family around and things like that, or who knows, I don't want to presume anything, but they may be less active or want to do different things, but it's the idea of the different offerings, right, that are bringing in all of the populations, I think is the heart of it.
I'm just spitballing, let me throw this out. What programming strategies would you use to serve a diverse senior population? Or even put those markers in there to serve a 55 to 155 population.
Right. How about, what is your strategy to appeal to the diverse needs of the senior and community center population from 55 to 100 plus? Or basically, like,
Yeah,
how are
is
you
it-
drawing
yeah.
interest from people who are, you know, at different stages of their adult life, from 55 and up? Maybe it's that.
Well, I think key word you threw in there was needs. The needs are as diverse as the demographic.
Right. Needs and, yeah, interests. Or maybe it's the diverse needs and interests of the adult population of 55 and up.
Yeah.
We're going to spend an hour on that one question.
Yeah, what program strategy would you use to serve the diverse needs of the adult population 55 and up?
Say that again?
What programming strategies would you use to serve the diverse needs of the adult population age 55 and up?
Yeah, that works for me. I mean, it answers part of the question, so.
I would just serve as one part, but attract I was trying to look for the right word because a draw is what kept coming to mind, but I think how do we attract that population too, right? We want to serve it, but we also want to attract them to come,
Right.
right?
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's a complicated question.
Mm.
I think we're overcomplicating it to
Okay.
some degree, but
That's
I think
probably.
trying to make it perfect and agreeable to everybody. But I mean, what do we know about the senior center? The one, almost everybody in Franklin County who have attended a senior center likes this one better than theirs. It's a fact. I mean, more people
Yeah,
from out of the community come here than the community comes here.
there's no shame in our game, and then
No,
we want them to
none
keep it that way.
whatsoever. Two, they're mobile. They're highly mobile.
Right,
They're highly active.
right.
They're engaged in programming and things other than just coming to sit.
Right.
It's you know, there's all of these different things that this unit serves and brings people to it. And how do we say that in a few words to a candidate who might not know anything
Mhm.
about our community and how we're serving those folks who come here daily?
Well asked. Maybe we shouldn't try to lead it so much, and maybe we should be
Right.
more pointed and say that. So, how do you appeal to? So, we have a diverse population that comes to the center. Set
Right.
the stage. We can
Right.
set the stage in the question too,
Right.
right?
Right.
We have a
Right.
diverse population of 55 plus.
Yep.
Many of whom are highly active.
Yep.
And a wide range of ages.
Yep.
How do you appeal? How do you attract and appeal to that population? I mean, does that, but I think what you're saying is like the presumption that they know all of that. Well, it'd be great if they did, but don't
Right,
assume
right,
it. They
right.
haven't
Right.
been working here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's our interest is, how do you continue that and expand on that? Because we want what we had and maybe more, right? So how do you
Yeah.
take what we say is where we are
Mhm.
and grow from there? Is that what we're all
I-
trying to get at? I mean, to your point of not overcomplicating it, I don't.
No, but I think it satisfies, and correct me if I'm wrong, but setting the stage that way and making that declaration, we've answered the part that was missing.
Mhm.
We've given them that foundation of where we want them to start from.
Right.
Now, tell us how
Right.
you would make that better. Or at least keep that going, if not make it better.
I always want to make it better.
I always want to make it better. How would you make that better? That could be the question.
Oh, spent some time on it, but I think it's been beneficial.
Can
So one more time.
Can what?
I was going to say, can we keep that 9 and I can work on how to put that in a concise way to capture what I just said and bring that back?
I mean, only if we're going to start early, be earlier and work on the questions before the interviews on Monday.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
Well, these interviews are
Tuesday.
Monday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
Tuesday.
Is it supposed to be Tuesday? I thought it was Monday. Do I have them backward?
We had to work with the candidate schedules Tuesday.
And
Okay, yeah, we never did talk about what
Exactly.
could happen, so we can get back to that.
So,
So you're preempting something we don't
Tuesday,
know yet.
next Tuesday,
Got
or
it.
Tuesday tomorrow, Tuesday.
No, your dates didn't
Next
change.
Tuesday.
Just we swapped the topic on each of the days. So it's still
So
the 22nd
Tuesday
and
is
23rd.
activities coordinator interviews?
correct.
And Monday is cadet. So that's what we haven't gotten back to, which was,
Okay.
did candidates confirm and are we good? Just
Yeah.
like focused on the questions first. So we are confirmed, just to kind of maybe circle back to that, for all 4 candidates,
Mhm.
flipped Monday and Tuesday.
Correct.
Would it work if,
So we could finalize it Monday if we're meeting on Tuesday.
right?
Could spend a few
or-
minutes on these on Monday to finalize them.
I was going to say, if Bill wanted to work on it, he could.
I'm working on it now.
Okay. Or I was going to say, rather than rush, if we want to move on, is you
Yeah.
could provide a proposed draft to Brian, and he could include it in our packet in preparation for a meeting next week.
I have draft questions 1 through 8 already in a communication to the 3 of you. I've added and removed question 9 4 times, so
In various ways, because we weren't there yet.
Okay, well, I have some good news and I have some bad news. I'm not as prepared for the police
Cadet.
cadet's
That's
position.
okay. That's okay.
So there won't be as much to labor over.
Or maybe there'll be more. So, all I was going to add was that we should add at the end, you have questions for us questions. So
Mhm.
whether it's
Yeah.
10 or 9 or 11, I don't know, somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
So
I think the 8 to 10 is a good number, so I
Yeah.
think the number of questions. And I know Bill is working on that, so I don't want to digress much, but is there anything that you drafted them, so I think we covered everything that
Right.
you scope-wise?
the one thing I thought of that I left out here, one of the questions that I did like, and maybe we can consolidate this into a question 10 is, obviously, do you have any questions for us? Or is there something we haven't talked about yet that you want us to know about you? Something like
I like
any
that.
additional information that you would like to provide that's relevant.
Do you have any questions for us, or do you have any, is there anything that you'd like to share that we haven't discussed tonight? That you think that is relevant? I think that works as a final wrap question.
Yeah.
You got it?
No,
You got
all I
nine?
get
Or you
so
wanna come
far
back to
is
it?
our senior center serves a highly active and mobile population. How would you serve this? How would you go about serving this population? I mean, it's short enough and precise enough to
What was
garner a
the-
response.
what was the end of that question?
How would you go about serving this population? How would you go about engaging and serving this population?
Engaging and attracting.
Yeah.
Population. Did you get enough to read it back one more time or no?
I'm going to email it to the 3 of you.
Huh?
I'm emailing it to the 3 of you.
Okay.
And if we have 9 questions, that means we each ask 3 in a round robin format if we stick to that.
Yep, and then the
10th
wrap
one
question is
the-
back to the chair or back to whoever. Yep, that's fine. It's really for them, so. I like it. All right. So how about this? We worked on them a bunch. I mean, is there any that we wanted to go back to, what we talked about so far? I think we were good with at least the first run through. Why don't we put them, if you want to, we can put them on Monday night on the agenda. And after we
As the
do,
final review?
excuse me?
As the final review?
Yeah, at the end, after we do the cadet, or if we have time in between and we want to, we can go through them. And if we've had some time, thought them over, and we have a few tweaks, we can just finalize them.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Especially 9, like if,
Yeah.
it gives you a little more time, or any of us to kind of think through it and try to expand on that one. Maybe I can clean up 5 a little more than I could out loud. Okay, so good enough. We got, I think, is there anything missing from your standpoint? I think it covered the
I
gambit.
don't think so.
Okay.
No.
So I think the scope is there. I think even as they are, they'll probably get the point across, and if not, we can tweak them a little on Monday.
Yep.
Okay. And scheduling, we've one at 6 and one at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start at 6? Want to start? Did you tell them 6 and 6:05? Okay. So, and our meeting, so this is Tuesday. Do you want to start at 6? You want to start before 6? Start at 6 and go right in the first one?
6 is okay with me.
Okay.
Do you need a couple minutes just to get yourselves ready?
Sure. 5:00.
Okay.
Or we can start at 6:05. Either way, we can, whatever works for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll shoot for 5:55. We can always start the first interview a few minutes after 6 if needed. Do you know which candidates first?
Mm-hmm. I can send you guys a whole itinerary.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That would be great. So Tuesday it'll be 5:55 start, 6 first, 7 second, and then deliberation. And hopefully a decision on an offer. Okay. Anything else for Tuesday night at this point? That's it, right?
I can't recall right now.
That's fine. Okay. Back to the top. Cadet position interview questions. So this will be Monday night,
Mm-hmm.
6 and 7.
Yep.
Okay. We'll start, same thing, we'll start about 5 of.
Yep.
And deliberation after, and review coordinator questions.
Mm-hmm.
Last item.
Okay.
Don't believe we'll have to do any other business, but if something comes up or before we wrap tonight, we need to, we'll talk through it. But I think that's that. Questions?
So I did just share by email the one question that I came up with that was in addition to the questions that Brian provided us for suggestions.
Did you say you just sent it?
I did just send it.
Okay.
So, it says it was launched at 8:10.
Got it. Jeez. Those are some stats. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did we talk about setting the stage for a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with the numbers. I knew it was a lot more different, but wow. Okay.
The numbers will vary based on
Sure.
obviously which study or which research you do, but that is sort of a
100 times more or more.
That is an average of different studies that I have seen across the board.
Hmm.
They are sobering, if I dare say so.
I do agree. Um, Just for ease, last question, I'm gonna borrow from what we just discussed, basically same question. Should be our last question. Just,
Mhm.
do you have any questions, and is there anything we didn't cover that you would like to add?
Are we looking at questions from after 9, 10 through the bullets?
The bullets.
Okay.
I mean, 1 through 11 was asked last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and that question 10 is the one that I was referencing about any
Yep.
information important to your application, but
or the 10 and 11 together, really,
Right.
right? Yep, yep. So, proposed ones here was, what motivated you to apply for the Community Services Cadet Program? I think it's a good opener.
yep.
What do you think are the most important qualities of a good police officer? I was just stopping at the word good. I felt like there was a better word, but that's okay.
Well, I think good is the baseline.
I know.
You'll allow me to say so. There's a difference between a good cop and a bad cop.
Yes,
And
yes.
we want the former, not the latter.
Fair.
And as a baseline, these candidates need to start framing in their heads what are those qualities and how are they going to aspire to meet those.
Mm-hmm.
If they become a good cop, then they can work on becoming a great cop. But they have to crawl before they can walk, and they have to walk before they can run.
Mm-hmm. Are we good with that question? Second question?
Yes?
Third, what challenges do you believe police officers face today, and how would you handle them?
I have no problem with any of these questions.
Okay.
I think they're all appropriate at this level.
Yeah, I think the team one is similar to the other
Mm-hmm.
that we just did, but I think it's open-ended. There's not an assumed positive outcome. There's just a question about it, which I like
Yeah.
better for this role.
There's not always a positive outcome in this role.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And in teamwork, there isn't always. Successful teams don't always succeed at the goal. That doesn't make them less successful as a team. One that I think we don't have in there is something around community policing. I know it's community service cadet, but also, we are really community policing focused department. So, what does community policing mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Or, how? Yeah, I mean, I think just that, unless you guys have a better way of wording it.
I'll be so bold as to say we could roll back question 2 from the original interviews. Maybe tweak it a little bit, but I thought both candidates provided okay answers. Nothing that
Mm,
gave me that aha feeling. They got it.
got it.
Are you saying you want to ask that question again?
Some form of it,
Okay.
because we've demonstrated been said multiple times and repeated, communities policing and being a servant and an integral part of the community are important for us as qualities. And we've seen in some of the officers we've hired recently that have really excelled at that and have really helped to build relationships with people in our town and make those positive connections. So it's been said more than once that that's important to us, so I'd like for our candidates to understand how they would utilize their skill sets, abilities, and experience to help build on that. Sort of going back to the activities coordinator, what we have is good. What are you going to do to maintain that or make it better?
Right.
And
Is there a particular placement in the order of questions that you would like to place that?
So part of me says it's incredibly important, and I'd like to have it towards the top.
Okay.
But then, on the other shoulder, the other voice says, both of these candidates are very interested in this position, and maybe we should wait and let them get into a rhythm of the interview and get past the initial jitters so they can really put their best foot forward to this question.
When I think about these in general, there's a couple ways you can flow. Like we kind of thought through the last one where you're flowing through some different kind of logical topics in order, or you can kind of go back and forth between a couple different areas to keep it, mix it up, right? And I'm tending to maybe putting it towards the end. It's one of the last questions, kind of coming back to some of the stuff we started on in the beginning, and if you get a little jitters and that kind of thing, okay, now we've settled into it, come back to bring all that together, and what do you have as kind of a summary at the end? And in that, I mean, do you want to focus on building and maintaining relationships with the community, or do you want to go as detailed as that one is? Or do you want to focus around the community relationships specifically? I had brought up community and you mentioned question 2 coming back, so I'm not partial either way. I was just curious how you were thinking of, because I think I wouldn't want to just copy it verbatim.
No, I would
Just take
be
it a little.
okay with letting the candidates interpret and answer the question based on their perceptions of what makes the community and what the primary and secondary targets or goals should be.
So as in, like, do you want to reword it, or do you want,
I think,
I mean, do you have a proposed rewording, or do you want one of us to give that a shot?
I'm opening to just condensing it and leave it an open, but I am not digging my heels on the ground on that thought either, so
Okay.
if there's something that the two of you would like to narrow in on, I've already heard their answers and I've already expressed my opinion of them.
Right.
I'm not the only
Could
one.
it just read as a community services cadet, how would you approach building and maintaining professional relationships with community members?
It could. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, the emphasis first should be on the working for us, so it should be on our community. But then there's the community at large. I mean, the community doesn't stop just here. It's beyond people
Right.
who come through our borders, who are deserving of the same same response that the community gets. So I think you have to enlarge that perception of community.
Define it a little more.
Right.
I-
The community is everyone.
Yeah.
It's not just Erving.
I agree with you. I also think maybe playing on what Jim said of leave it a little more concise,
Mhm.
and then we can follow up depending on the response. So if it's a narrow
Yeah,
response of
yeah,
just
yeah.
the community here, we can then follow up with, well, how do you expand that to approach
Right.
and the way you approach
Right.
the greater community, you know, those
Right.
who are visiting from outside our borders, interacting with those outside our borders and other agencies, et cetera. So we can take and lead that from the first
Right,
answer,
right.
but I think leaving it shorter. So how do you, I would say, how do you maintain and build upon the professional relationships that the police department has with the community? So just kind of setting that you got to maintain what we already have built, and then how do you build upon, right? It's kind of that two-part of how do you make it better by just tweaking the order of it a little bit. So,
Can I suggest removing the word professional and just leave it as relationships? Because sometimes building community is personal and not professional.
true.
And as somebody who, and Bill may agree or disagree with me, but sometimes the best bonds you build have nothing to do with the protect and serve aspect of the job. It's simply connecting with people.
Mhm.
It's engagement. Back to that word.
Back to that word.
But it is. I mean, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Sometimes people don't need service, but a simple hello and a conversation while you're patrolling a neighborhood on a Sunday.
I remember a conversation with my dogs with their lights that we walked them with at night with an officer one night. So absolutely. It's the
Who
things
shall
that
remain
you-
nameless?
Who shall remain nameless. But those are the things. Absolutely, those are the things that someone remembers, and you know that's some of those connections that we're getting at. Did you take that adjustment, Brian, on your? Would you run through it one more time
So
for me?
now have it reading, as a community service cadet, how would you maintain and build upon the relationships that the police department has with the community?
Yeah. Okay. We'll drop that in towards the end. We're at the end. The second to last bullet, job may involve taking direction from multiple supervisors. It does. I don't think it's a may. This job
Involves.
involves
Mhm.
taking. And then how do you prioritize and manage multiple tasks under pressure? Because it's going to assume that there's multiple requests at the same time. It's kind of the premise of it, right? That you're getting different direction at the same time. And how do you prioritize and work within those?
So this brings me to, one of the things that Chief Holst has identified, as we have too, is this position is designed to prepare somebody to be a successful candidate for an academy,
Mm-hmm.
helping them to understand how to receive and respond to multiple stimuli and pressure, and being successful in those environments will be important.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question.
Yep.
maybe after question 2, or somewhere else in here, I was thinking of a question around what specific or what unique qualities do you believe you bring to this role, or to to this role, and ultimately, if successful, to the police department, because that's really, I mean, the ultimate goal here, right? Is that you develop someone and get them through the academy and develop them into a great officer. We talked a little bit about what is a good officer,
Right.
but also what do you? Is there any
So-
unique things you bring? Because we're not talking about experienced officers here, right? So
No, we're not.
that's the goal.
Right.
That they aren't already. So
So it might, yeah, so if you inserted a new 3 to touch on that, you provide the candidate to do a little introspection. What are my strengths? And what weaknesses might I have that I can identify that need improvement?
Mm-hmm. So is that a 2-part question or 2 questions?
No, I think that can be a true question 3, or even just say it.
Strengths and weaknesses?
What's that?
Strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
or okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there was something similar that was asked, but if the candidate's going to come up with what they believe are the qualities of a good cop, and they want to be a good cop, they're going to know, okay, which of these do I have now?
Which
And
ones do I need to work
which
on?
do I have to go out and improve on?
Yeah. So that'll be the new 3. Okay. 4 is challenges. 5 is team. 6 is prioritization, supervisors, tasks, pressure. 7 is classroom. 8 is community engagement. 9 is the wrap question, but I like Jim's question. I would like to put that in here. I am not sure what you think, Bill. I don't know if you got it. He emailed it. It was, I'll read it. Basically, set the stage, and then the question. The average police officer experiences approximately 400 traumatic events during a career, a stark contrast to the 2 to 5 that an average person experiences in their lifetime. This exposure to frequent and severe critical incidents increases your risk or their risk of developing mental health conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder. How do you manage stress in your life, and what resources, if any, do you use to care for your emotional well-being? I'm back and forth between putting that at like maybe 8 after the classroom question, or maybe before, after the prioritization and managing tasks under pressure. Unless you guys have somewhere else you'd want to put it.
I think you can put that anywhere. I mean, within the body of the question. So I think it's a good question, and certainly would leave it there. I don't know that it matters where. it
I
is.
wouldn't put it before the challenges that officers face, and I wouldn't put it right after.
Yeah.
That would be my only thought, somewhere
Yeah.
below that.
New number 7.
I don't even know what number 7 is anymore.
7
thought I
was
did
your
that.
classroom question.
7 is classroom?
Mm-hmm. You can shift that down.
Sure.
Okay.
So we have 10 now, or 9? 10?
10.
Okay.
I'm putting these in the communication to the 3 of you so you can see a clean draft.
Thank you. Anything you think we're missing in the cadet one?
I don't-
We got it? All right, running through those one more time, make sure they're good for
Sure.
Monday.
Yep.
1, what motivated you to apply for the Community Services Cadet Program in the Erving Police Department?
Okay.
Stop me at any point if you want, or make adjustments. 2, what do you think are the most important qualities of a good police officer? 3, what unique qualities do you believe that you bring to this role and ultimately a patrol officer with the police department? With that one, we had said also, what, I don't know if we want to say weakness, or what areas do you believe you need to improve upon? So I don't know where we want to work, or how you want to word it. It's the same kind of thing, but that was the
No, I
other half
think-
of it, right?
It's not even necessarily a weakness, but what areas do you need to better develop?
To be successful. Yeah. What areas?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking in a general sense. I mean,
We are.
until you're a police officer, you don't
You don't know what you don't
You
know.
don't know what you don't know, correct.
I mean,
True.
So,
But perspective on what they think they don't know.
Right, right.
I mean, that's really the
Right.
question.
Right.
So,
Right.
so yeah, 12 prepare, question mark, what, and you can either and or just add it on after the question mark of what areas do you need to improve upon, or further develop. Do you believe you need to further develop to be successful?
Got it.
4, what challenges do you think police officers face today, and how would you handle them? 5, describe a time when you worked as part of a team. What role did you play, and what was the outcome? 6, this job involves taking direction from multiple supervisors. How do you prioritize and manage multiple tasks under pressure? 7, average police officer experiences approximately 400 traumatic events during a career, a stark contrast to the 2 to 5 traumatic events that an average person experiences in a lifetime. This exposure to frequent and severe critical incidents increases their risk of developing mental health conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder. How do you manage stress in your life, and what resources, if any, do you use to care for your emotional well-being? I would just add, how do I want to say it? Emotional and mental, maybe mental and emotional well-being, or just add mental in there, either before or after emotional.
Can it
8,
just be well-being?
sure. I mean, does that work for you guys?
Yep.
Okay. This role involves both classroom and field training. How do you approach learning new and potentially challenging material? As a community service, 9, as a community service cadet, how do you maintain and build upon the relationships that the police department has with the community? 10, do you have any questions the board can answer, and or do you have any additional information regarding your candidacy that you would like to share? Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
That's Monday's list.
That's Monday.
Okay, you'll send us the agenda, or
Create the
Whatever.
reading sheets.
time,
Yep.
yeah, time of who, when. 5:55,
Correct. I put that
Start
marked
and
in
we'll-
here.
start interviews around 6. Okay, anything else on cadet?
I'll just emphasize what I said about the activities. The candidates have the answers to the exam. I expect genuine but well thought out and well-formed answers. They have a week to prepare. And maybe I'm sounding like an old grumpy retired cop, but
I'd say, I don't know if they may have some hints at the right answers for sure.
what,
And
well,
they have the questions, which is not a pop quiz, right? So
Right.
you have the
Right.
questions.
but the last thing I'll say is that command presence is a very important part of a role as a police officer, and my expectation, speaking only for myself, not my colleagues, but the uniform of the day is courtroom attire.
Should put that at the header of the questions.
Just saying, if you don't know what it is, you have a week to prepare.
Does that apply to the interviewers too?
I'm only accountable to myself, sir, as are the two of you.
This feels like a setup. No, I'm teasing you. Fair. Understood. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to be mean. People just have to understand what they're getting themselves into and
Absolutely.
the expectations that come with it.
Absolutely. This is meant to set that stage. I absolutely agree with you. It's hard to convey it, which we learn trying to develop it. It's even harder when you do it and learn it. But the earlier they can start, the better. Discussion and review of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation LEAP grant application for River Road.
This is a new grant opportunity that Mass DOT has launched. I can't think of another example where, or maybe Small Bridge, that you all maybe have participated in where they have helped with design. Almost in every other instance, if there's a road job, even if it's construction funding, you all have had to find the design money first, come up with a project, get it ready for submission for construction funding. So they're trying something new. It's geared, it's for all communities, but it's geared towards smaller towns who maybe don't have engineering staff and the ability to launch a project and get it through design. So this LEAP is the acronym that they're calling. This program was just launched.
And just for those, because I didn't spell it out, local early actionable planning.
Thank you.
LEAP.
So this is a first for all of us. It's a first for them. It's a first for towns to go through the application process. The project that we were proposing for you all to consider is to put forward the design phase, at least, for the River Road project. So that's a project that we've been talking about for the last year and a half. It's a water main that needs to be replaced, but the location of the water main on that street is going to require storm catch basins to be relocated and adjusted. The sidewalks are going to have to be reconstructed. It's not a small project. And that would span, if you're familiar with River Road, it will span from the intersection with Public Works Boulevard, so almost Route 2, all the way. There's sort of a rise on River Road, excuse me. So about to that rise. So it's an expansive project. So that's the scope that you have in front of you for the design phase. We don't know how competitive this round will be, and we don't know what the grading experience is going to look like. So there's a lot of firsts for this. So I wish I could say we've got a treasure trove of experience to draw from on this particular program and be able to say we have the most compelling application. We've been working with your team at Time Bond on this application. We've made our colleagues at the Franklin Regional Council of Governments, our planning organization, aware that we're doing this. So they're happy to provide support if they're able to provide support. So I think we're in as good a position as we can be.
And so this is really applying to get ahead of all the other steps we often take to get
Right.
started,
Right.
to get the early planning phase funded and done.
I do expect that Pete and I will be asking, well, this really is a combined project with highway and wastewater and water. So I do think the three of us will be approaching the three of you to ask you to support a capital request for the FY27 budget for the construction phase. Whether we seek that to be grant funded or otherwise, the project really does need to be a priority in the near future. So our hope is that if this is successful, we'll have a design that will better refine the costs. We have a very high level opinion of probable costs that really isn't refined enough that you could say we've got a solid number to take to capital planning, and certainly not to the voters. So
Right, this hopefully funds that
that's the goal.
more refined plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is going to be so disruptive to the road surface and the pedestrian sidewalk on that lane, it made sense to have one engineering plan that would deal with all of that. Sometimes you have two different firms that you work with, It just made sense to tie it all together and have one engineer, therefore you'll have one contractor on this job if we ever get that far down the road, so.
I believe we talked briefly about this before, about tie and bond as the,
Yeah.
because of the scope of the project at some point, it doesn't make sense to have multiple,
Right,
where we may prefer one for roads versus one
Right.
for infrastructure.
right.
So Brian, how much is the grant? How much is the grant for?
How much are we seeking?
initially?
Like potentially, yeah.
Who's that, the 64, 800 number?
That's how much we're looking for. Yes. Yes,
So that's the requested amount
correct,
to get the engineering to the point
correct.
that we have basically the checked items, right? The concept, design and sketch, and the
Right.
complete streets design and engineering.
Correct. But it's
What
not,
would be required to submit, right?
it's not the
basically?
permitting and the bidding and the construction administration.
So basically, it's the first few phases of any project we normally do.
It's typically how you've been doing
Design engineering, pre-permitting, pre-bid.
Right.
25% slash, kind of somewhere in there.
them. Yeah, if you were translating it to MassDOT language.
I mean, you would think it's MassDOT.
Basically, yes.
Does this program have any numbers attached to it yet? For what funding and, okay.
The email that I included is the announcement that we all received. And there's a flurry of information because some of this is services that sometimes looks like what FERCog has provided, complete streets planning and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So then there was a lot of teasing out who's responsible for what, when does a regional planning agency get involved, as opposed to needing to go through a program like this. So there's a lot of that type of communication. Your question's a great one, but they didn't get into their program limits that you can't ask for more than a certain amount. So again, I think that's part of this learning process.
Mhm.
From what I've seen in compared to your past engineering projects for the scope that we're doing, this design fee is in line with our other projects. If we look at the water and sewer we're doing here in Care Drive, the bridge projects, the other road jobs that we've done for repaving, it's all
Mhm.
very similar. Is it worth giving it a shot?
What's the downside?
They say no. That's it.
Is that downside to applying?
Right,
The
so-
downside is the time spent, right?
Right, so
I mean-
they say no, so I guess my question is, you mentioned earlier that Tie and Bond has been helping us develop this so far. Are we committed to them for any number
No.
for that assistance, or are they?
This is very high level at this point, what they've
Right.
assisted us with. So it's been, a couple site walks and discussing the scope of the project, preparing the engineering proposal that we now have. It's nothing different than what I would take to you or the capital planning committee to start a project to begin with. So it's the same level they've done for other jobs.
The worst thing that can happen is they say no. I don't see why we wouldn't want to move forward.
Me either. It seems like there's not a lot of work to go into the application either. It's pretty much done, and it's
Yeah.
pretty limited requirements
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get it started. And the numbers in the 64-8 are the two sets of design proposals from Tie and Bond,
Right.
what they've provided, right? Okay.
Right.
Are you looking for a motion to proceed to submit it?
It's up to you. Do you want to make a motion to authorize the application, or is obviously applying doesn't mean that you've accepted an award. So
Right.
if we're fortunate enough to receive good news and they award, we can bring the award and any conditions that may come with that funding to you all for a final decision as to whether or not you want to accept.
And if I'm following this, if we submit by the end of the month, then we should hear back by the 14th of November?
It
Initially,
sounds that
if
way,
there's
which
been
is
approval
impressive.
or maybe further requests.
It probably sounds like a long ways away, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a fairly quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like 45 days, it's not
Yeah.
very long, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at that point, if we're lucky enough to get awarded something, we can bring it back, bring capital and FinCom together and say, okay, you know, this was out there, short deadline, we put it out. We were lucky enough to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense to move this up to a plan stage on a grant fund, you know?
Exactly.
Because as all of the groups know, it's unfortunate to pay to put plans on a
Mhm.
shelf that you may not use right away, but if we can get that funded, then does it
Mm-hmm.
make a little more sense? And is it one of our, which we haven't really talked about, but is it like a top 5 priority project or something, right? It's just something we
Right.
had discussed before, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And does that open up funding sources too? I mean, I think there might have been somewhere in there, I wasn't clear whether that should be tied into the application. I think it was under, hold on, let me find it again. Oh, it was the bottom of page 20 of our packet, page 23, which is in what ways are financial constraints making it difficult to advance the project?
Mm.
So the funding to get more firm numbers to
Yeah.
figure out what costs will be, right? Which is
Exactly.
kind of noted in the next one, is how would the support offer help us do it? And then the other part of how does this help us do it? Well, if we get those plans, then that will further enable us to apply for grants that may be appropriate for this work too.
Exactly.
So, yeah, just pulling those back to more funding in the next stage.
We can strengthen
Yeah, that would be my only
rationale.
recommendation. Um,
Now, are we sticking to that 64,800 number, or is that not necessary?
What do you mean sticking to?
If one of us was to make a
Oh.
motion to authorize proceeding to this.
I think it's just an application to submit the design for the River Road project for the Mass DOT LEAP program. I think it can be that
Yeah, the
straightforward.
number doesn't need to be in there because
Yeah.
that's just what we're asking for, but
Yeah.
not, it's not a contract number, so we don't need a number in there.
Okay.
It's just an authorization to apply for.
I didn't think so, but I just wanted to be sure. Well, I will make a motion to authorize Brian Smith, our town administrator, and Glenn Johnson Mossad, our town coordinator, to submit the designs for the River Road project to the local early actionable planning program. And authorize both parties to action any necessary paperwork. I guess. Does that suffice?
I think we're good.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Review and approval of the treasury warrant.
That should be right next to you.
Make a motion, we approve the 7th accounts payable warrant for fiscal 2026 in the aggregate amount of $363,950.83 as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. More to come, but very noteworthy, we did get confirmation that the Church Street Bridge project went out to bid. on 9/6, I believe, correct? So Mass
Say that
DOT confirmed that the Church Street Bridge project went
Yeah.
out to bid on September 6th.
Oh,
So it has gone out. It's not a topic, but it was much ado when I heard, so it's worth noting and it's worth putting on a future agenda to talk about further, as needed, but getting some of the takings out of the way and getting everything kind of checked off, we've got to
Yeah.
that point, so.
do we know when their deadline is on the bid?
I will find out for you.
We'll put that on a future agenda with the timeline details, because I know we're all interested in seeing those.
That's good.
We'll have some taking actions in October that we'll have to do as well,
I need you to give me that date.
which is what I was leading to. So the next piece of this is schedule. So I do want to talk about. I know we have next Monday, Tuesday for interviews.
Mhm.
I don't expect to be adding any business. We'll see, but I don't expect to unless there's something urgent to those agendas. Our normal is our normal schedule. Our normal meeting is like next Monday, so every other Monday from next Monday. The 6th is a holiday, so
No, the 13th is a holiday. I thought it was the 6th.
oh, you're killing me.
That's our
That's
challenge.
right. That's right. That's right. So we met on the 8th. We're meeting tonight, 22nd, 23rd. Then what's the next meeting?
Right.
So the 6th is would be our normal schedule. We'll have a week off in between. Yes.
Well, in theory, the 29th is supposed to be your normal schedule. Next week is throwing us off schedule.
That's right. Thank you. That's
Yep.
what I was trying to get back to. So I don't know if you all want to meet that many weeks in a row, or if you just want to meet on the 6th and then regroup from there.
Or meet the
Take a
week of
week
the
off.
13th, but you'd have to change your day.
I have no problem meeting on the 29th to keep our regular cadence, but it's, again, then it moves, our regular cadence then falls on the holiday, and what do we?
Right, so we'll be adjusting that week
Right.
anyway, so I don't know.
Does-
So if we met on the 6th, is that too soon, Brian, for the takings piece that we have to do? Forget
Technically,
what the last day
no.
was, or the earliest day was. The 6th was okay?
October,
So we have to do
October
a
5th.
formal date for the takings that are still outstanding
it's 30
related
days.
to the bridge. So some are done and some are not. Some have a waiting period, and we have to notify them when that will be addressed in the meeting, once that's expired.
October 5th would be the 30 days.
30 days, okay. Which you probably can't count Sunday, so it's probably the 6th.
You're gonna say it doesn't matter that the 5th is a Sunday?
Okay.
It's 30, just 30 calendar days.
Okay.
So we'd originally planned on the 13th. But
Right.
then
Because we thought the holiday was.
we thought the 6th was the
I
holiday.
messed up what the holiday was. And being just, it probably not something that necessarily want to wait till the 20th to do, or beyond even. It would be the 27th if we were on normal schedule, right? So I don't think we want to
Mhm.
wait that long. And we do have the public hearing for the sewer regs to do now too, so.
Mhm. Is Tuesday the 14th an option?
And you're thinking of, do we do the 29th and then the 14th? Is that what you're getting at?
We could either do that, though I don't know how much you'll have for the 29th. It could be a brief meeting. Or
I'm not
we'll just
opposed
aim
to
for the
not
14th.
meeting on the 29th. I just don't know if we can go from the 22nd to the 14th. That's a long span.
True.
That's my only.
We could do it tentatively.
We could. You said Tuesday the 14th? I can do that.
Right now, my work schedule works for that.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can make it work.
I can make the 14th work.
All right, well, let's plan on the 14th then. Want to do both? We'll handle the takings on the 14th and the sewer regs,
Sure.
public hearing,
Same date?
same date.
Okay.
You got it.
Maybe on like, if it's a 2-week notice, around the 29th or the end of next week, we can come back to, and unless we have a really long agenda, or we're going to insert a meeting for some reason. If we need to push the public hearing, we can, but I don't think we'll need to.
Right.
Okay. Anything else for upcoming? So then we would plan the 27th after.
Right.
Or normal. Every 2. And right now, we'll just hold off for the 14th unless something needs to get done sooner. We'll call something in between,
Okay.
but we'll plan not to.
Can I make one more just update?
Mm-hmm.
The award for the Farley Bridge that we shared with Wendell was successful. So your counterparts in Wendell made the award last week. Warner Brothers is your contractor. We met them on site Friday morning. And so it's probably about 3 to 4 week lead time after they get submittals approved to get the materials on site. So we expect October the work will begin. It's probably about 6 weeks that the bridge will be out of service. We're going to get the announcements out on the website and the around town. We'll use the message boards on both sides of the bridge. But it doesn't seem like there'll be any issues getting it completed before winter.
Excellent.
Outstanding.
Good.
Yep. Great news.
Yep.
It's a week of good bridge news. Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
All right. Anything else on upcoming schedule? Any other items for tonight? Nope. All good.
Good.
Motion to adjourn?
9 p.m.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.